Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Planning Board regular meeting on Thursday, September 12th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Before we begin, please silence all your cell phones. I understand that there is a hearing impaired individual in the room. Is that correct or not?
No, they didn't show.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Can we have the roll call, Mr. Hart?
Member Rosen, Member Brown,
Present.
Member Chinovsky,
Here.
Member Axelrod,
Yeah.
Vice Chairperson Mendelson,
Here.
Chairperson Goldenberg,
Here.
Town Attorney Lanahan.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
All right. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a quick note, yesterday was 9/11. Just want to make a note of that and just think about the people that we were lost. All right, approval of the agenda. Is there a call for a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Swearing in the public is, for those giving testimony, please stand and raise your right hand. Be sworn in by Mr. Hart to provide testimony for the application that you are affiliated with. Mr. Hart?
By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
And just a review of the approval of the minutes of a long time ago, June 13th of 2024. Are there any correction to the minutes? And if there are none, can I have an approval, approve the minutes? A motion, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There is no unfinished business, so let's move on to the new business. Development order application number PZ 24-6, Yachtman's Cove Townhouse, application by Akbar Mandal. I hope that is pronounced correctly. Boat lifts and docks of South Florida for a special exception to install a new 884 square foot dock and to raise the existing seawall cap an additional 3 feet for the Yachtman's Cove Townhouse Condominium Association Incorporated, located at 1000-1016 Bel Air Drive. Do any board members have any ex parte communications? Hearing none at this time, Ms. Allen, the floor is yours.
Hey, good morning. For the record, Ingrid Allen. We are having some issues with Microsoft, so I typically show the PowerPoint. The slides are available in your packets anyway. The aerial is on page 12 if you haven't familiarized yourself with the property. So currently at this property, there's a 784.55 square foot wood dock. As the chair just indicated, they're proposing to install an 884 square foot concrete dock. And their current seawall, according to the plans that they've submitted, is at 3 feet, and they're going to be adding an additional 3 feet to that. On page 9 of your packets, I provided you a table with the FDP and Army Corps authorizations that the applicant has received for this request. The property is zoned RML, so as you all are very familiar, the RML zoning district does not need to comply with marine site setbacks. With regards to the seawall, again, the code does require that seawalls on the west side of A1A be at base flood elevation or higher. The current base flood for this, or base flood elevation for this property, is 6 feet. And again, the proposed seawalls at 6 feet, so they are compliant with the code. Staff has reviewed the proposed requests, including the plan set, which is date stamp received by the building department on August 19, 2024. Those are those 11 by 17 sheets that are in your packet. The application is consistent with the special exception provisions of section 30-36 of the town code, where applicable, compliant with the code of ordinances as well as a comp plan. I'll be glad to answer any questions. The applicant's authorized agent is here as well to address any questions that you may have.
Do any board member have any questions of the staff?
I do.
Roger.
I've never heard of this company that's putting in the seawall. Have they done work in Highland Beach before?
They've been before you a few times with different seawall dock projects. In the last few years, they have come before the planning board. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They're lifting the seawall and they're putting in a new concrete dock. What are they gonna do with the existing lifts that are there now?
Right, so on the plans, you'll see on the site plan sheets, they are remaining. So they can talk to you a little bit more about how they do that. Again, when they get their building permit, we'll have our, inspectors go out there and make sure, but that's really more of the structural part, and that is, addressed in when they'll go for the building permit, but I could defer to the applicant and they could address that, yeah.
Just 1 second. Any other questions from the board from Ms. Allen? All right, could we please have the applicant or representative discuss this?
Good morning. My name is Stephen Garbett, owner of Boatless and Docks.
Yeah, Steve has
Yes.
worked in the community for some time.
Yes. The boat lifts are currently not attached to the existing dock. They have their own structural piling that's holding them up. So if we're planning not to remove them, leaving them as is and build around where they are.
Isn't there an elevator lift at the distal end of Bel Air Drive that we approved for this townhouse here at the end?
There's 3 boat lifts there.
They're straight boat lifts or elevator?
Three
lifts?
boat lifts, 3 elevator lifts.
So if they're elevator lifts, aren't they attached to the docks?
No, it's attached to their own piling.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other board members have questions of this gentleman? Excuse me? Of the public?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. Do any member of the public have any statements? All right, would you please come to the podium?
Hi, thank you. Diane Matthewman, 1109 Bel Air Drive. I'm across the street from them, but my concern is, and I'm not sure if it's a legitimate concern or not. From what I'm understanding is they want to raise their seawall 3 feet, right? So that means they're going to be 3 feet higher from both their neighbors. So if a storm comes or a full moon comes with a big high king tide and the water is coming over the seawall, that property gets no water and their neighbors are going to get more water. That's my concern, and I want to know how that's going to be addressed. Thank you.
Or they're gonna get water and it's gonna come, you're gonna get water and it's gonna come back into their
Or
property
it's
on
gonna
the
get retained
sides.
by them. Are you
Yeah.
putting side also? Are you lifting up sideways 3 ways, 3 feet as well?
Okay, well, that's
Well,
my
just-
concern, because as of now,
Just a second. Let's, one question at a
I
time.
just want to make a statement that as of now, when we have a high tide, the intracoastal water is going into our pools, okay? So if they build a 3-foot high seawall, we're going to get more water in our pool. That's all.
In all due respect,
respond?
I think everybody is going to eventually be raising their seawalls.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're in the
Well,
you're in the structure across the street, right? And I think that somebody had come here once before and had said that they didn't want to raise their seawall in that structure because it would affect their view.
I know nothing about that.
okay, well, it's so noted, your concern.
And I know if you allow them to do it, it will eventually come to my side of the street.
Hopefully.
I'm all for raising the seawall. I think it should all be done at the same time.
Isn't that an issue for the community to decide?
Yeah.
Yes.
But we don't hit, I mean, if it's part of if it's approved in our code and it's allowed, we don't have the right to tell various people that they should do it. I mean, or to say that they can't because it's approved. I mean, it's,
Well,
okay.
it's so noted your concern. And is there? Yes,
Oh.
Steve, please.
Yes, we do bill returns on each end of the property, bordering the neighbors from the height of the cap all the way to the level with the property, the grass, so there's no runoff, to the neighbors.
So the notion is, if I understand it, that once this is complete, whatever is happening today will still continue to happen in
Yes.
the same way.
Because the way we build the docks and the returns is that there is a slope. So for the water to drain off the dock, so the water wouldn't be going to their neighborhood, to their property, it would be going off to the side.
Well, the issue is if it's already doing that without this change, what I think you're suggesting is there will be no change.
Yeah, if you're getting the water from the intercoastal, that has nothing to do with the side property.
That's the part that I wanted to be clear about.
Yes,
Okay.
No, that property will not be getting water from the intercoastal. They will only getting water from
There's adjacent
properties.
properties
If
flooding
if
in.
those properties overflow their returns and their retaining wall.
Right.
So the property across the street,
1 minute.
what this lady's talking about, if the water comes over into her backyard and it's high enough to be able to go across the street, then it'll be there, but it has to go over the 3-foot retaining wall and the returns in order to be able to come into that property.
Right. And from what I understand, it would be the neighboring properties that would be having a bit of difficulty. Because they still would be the same as they are now.
The neighboring properties would be the same as they are today. But this property, once this is completed, may remain dry,
Right.
drier from
Is that how high the
from the
water
intercoastal water,
Right.
water. But it all depends on how high
How high the
water
water
goes.
Thank you, Steve.
So,
Go ahead.
respect to the question, I think it's a very valid inquiry. But from our authority.
We have
don't
no
have-
authority to tell the whole community to raise them.
What the community decides, correct?
Right.
It's our obligation to just look
That's
at this.
that's an economic decision for the community.
That's correct. And then they can come back.
This on its own.
Right. And could you identify yourself, please?
Mallory Herskovitz. I live at 1016 Bel Air Drive. And this one is specifically on our side of the street right now. And Diane and I are very friendly neighbors, but our side of Bel Air, both sides, everything's slightly mismatched right now because we're our own each individual HOAs and complexes and such. I think her issues are super valid. Our side is already slightly uneven neighboring view. It's just how it is right now. The difference on our side right now, why we need the seawall and need the help, we all are actively outside with the boats and the dogs and everything. It's very much needs a lot of support and love. Our water overflow doesn't affect mostly on our side any of the pools because all of our pools are raised and we're at mismatched heights right now. Like I wish Bel Air did have continuity and both sides really had that even, hey, we're all doing the work. Let's get in it together. If our team, if our complex agrees, they agree. It's different with Bel Air because we are all very individual complexes. So it is going to look a little funny as we all fix it together. But living in that complex now, knowing how beat up the wood is and the holes and the such, we need the work done as smoothly before next big holiday seasons and hurricanes. And I think it is going to take time that the whole block's going to have to adjust and it may look lightly uneven for a bit, but our neighbors, like in the 3-story green ones, they're already at a different height than us and they're gated differently for their seawall and their pools are higher. So I think there's just a little mix and match until we all update, come into the next generation of the seawall, knowing that this work has to get done over time.
To your point, each individual
Association.
HOA
I know, I didn't,
would
right.
have to contract, go through the permit process and come here.
And I
for-
just,
Of those
right,
projects.
and each of those projects should be slightly individualized because the price tag, the grouping, the energy.
Point is that because you're each
Yeah.
an HOA, you each are under an obligation, should you choose to do this. to
Right.
Do so on an individual HOA basis.
And I think that's why the questions are great today. But I know that no neighbor would want to hurt or harm anyone else's land or property of building it up. So I do want to make that known too, is that I think the team is here to make sure that nothing runs off or causes issues to other neighbors. And I think that's why Bel Air's also had other constructions and things going on. And we're here to make sure that that block does stay safe and healthy to everyone's property and land. So just adding in that we're in our own little individual bubbles for now, but hopefully as that whole community slowly updates, we do find a nice symmetry to it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, when we did the accessory marine facilities and we talked about the seawalls and raising the seawalls, there was a concern that we would have a checkerboard front. Ms. Allen, is that correct? And that eventually everybody's going to be raising their walls, but it's going to vary till everybody gets up
Take
to.
time.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, please.
Oh, you may have your answer anytime you want.
So just to be clear, because I'm looking at the plan, you're not raising the seawall cap. You're actually putting driving a pile behind the seawall cap on the property, and then you're putting a retaining wall above it.
Steve, you need to come to the microphone.
Now we'll be tying into the existing seawall cap and raising it up.
You'll be tying it, but the existing seawall cap is, according to this, is 6 feet in front of this retaining wall that you're putting in, the new retaining wall.
Let me just.
3 feet, 6 feet, 4 and 2, 6 feet in front. So the existing seawall cap will remain and is not going to be touched. This is on DTL-1 of the dock steel detail.
Yeah, sir, if you see it there, it's going, tying right into the seawall cap.
I understand it may tie in on the top, but the existing seawall cap right now is going to remain,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And the existing dock is going to remain, and then you're driving this new pile behind it, 6 feet, 5 feet behind it, and then you're putting a block wall on top of the pile.
Yes, the new piling will be in the water. Yes, this piling
So-
you see there, yes.
So you're really not raising the seawall cap, you're just putting a retaining wall behind the seawall cap.
No, on top of the seawall cap.
Well, that's not on top of it.
Yes, that's what it is.
It looks like it's behind it by 6 feet.
That's what it is, right on top of the seawall cap there.
I mean, am I reading this wrong? How am I reading it wrong? This is 6 feet behind here. Look, it's 6 feet.
He's saying it's adjacent, so maybe.
No, it's attached.
I
I see how it's tied in, but it's behind. So it's set back. Is it not, is this block wall that you're putting here not set back?
No, it's on top of the seawall cap.
Either way, we're looking at it.
Okay. And
He's raising the present structure.
Yeah, the pilings will be driven in the water and tied into the dock.
Which page are we on?
The issue that was being brought up
It's this
was that
one.
the,
Microphone.
no, it says right here, a new
Microphone.
221 foot by 4 foot concrete dock, 6 feet from the west face.
The seawall cap is 3 feet wide, 36 inches, and the
Right.
dock will be, 4 foot extended from the seawall cap.
Right. And what is this structure that's behind the dock on the last page?
You're talking detail 1?
Yes.
This is in the water. That piling is in the water. That's the water side. Yeah, this is the water side. But this is the front, this is the water side, not behind. That's out in the water, that piling.
Oh, so you're putting it in front of it, not
Yes, sir.
behind it?
Yes, sir.
But the issue actually that came up that was being brought up.
Mike,
That Eve responded to, was that the unevenness. Thank you very much. I put my buttons. Thank you. Was the unevenness of the neighbors was a concern because of the water flowing off, which I think we're all going to. We just put a new seawall in ourselves, and we are experiencing that with our neighbors. So
Sidewall.
we don't have the sidewall. And-
know about the sidewall.
Yeah, we don't have, and I'm experiencing it in our building, that there is some flow, and we're hoping that the people that abut us will take the next steps in the future to change the seawall, and that's the fact of life.
yeah, and we went through this once with another company, condo, and
But thank you.
they wouldn't raise and they wouldn't, so. Thank you, Steve. Is there any other questions of the applicant? What,
I'm leaving now, but I just wanted to say, I'm fine with this seawall. If
Okay.
they have those retaining walls and it doesn't affect the neighbors, then I'm all for it.
okay, thank you for your input. Do any board members have any other questions of the applicant or? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. I'll need a motion to approve with conditions or a motion to deny the request.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
And do we need to,
Yeah.
yeah, we need a roll call.
Member Rosen,
Yes.
member Axelrod,
Yes.
member Brown,
Yes.
member Chinovsky,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Mendelson.
Yes.
Chairperson Goldenberg.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. Announcements, September 17th, 2024 at 1:30 PM, Town Commission meeting. There's be a correction that I have, September 18th at 5:01 PM, Town Commission second public hearing budget meeting. And October 10th, we shall all meet here at 9:30 AM for a planning board meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
We have 50.
You were a little, I thought
I
it'd
will
be,
not be here for the October tenth
And I won't be.
meeting.
All right, so
Might have
we'll
to
have to see what you,
where have you been going?
you're sucking $25 out of my pocket.
Hey, we lost 50 this summer.
Yeah, I don't know what I can do about that. Yeah, I know. What? Yeah, yeah, you can keep your.
That
I
changed
just want to
my,
run on that
changed my
boat.
whole cash flow. We're not
That's right,
getting,
exactly. I want to run on that boat.
every time it comes,